Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Hibiscus or admin Hibiscus or Yuzuki Hibiscus or whatever you want to call me with. You are currently listening to my podcast, which is Hibiscus Cafe Break. This podcast will feature international fans and I will be letting them plug in their favorite show. In the last episode, Maria from Southeast Asia and I have been talking about the Takarazuka Revue 2022 first half of show's Rewind, and we have stopped until Yubisuke and Sensational. In this episode, we will be continuing the talk from Top Hat to Cult Wine. And to prevent copyright infringement, Maria has kindly drawn some doodles for us for the posters. I have Instagram, Twitter, and Tumblr. If you haven't followed, I suggest that you do if you want to have more Yuzuka content, which my handle is YUZUKAHIBISEUS. Also, subscribe to my channel and like my video if you like this episode. Please note that the name Hibiscus Cafe Break is with due respect to the original show Takarazuka Cafe Break, and this is a fan-made podcast with no intention of receiving commercial revenue, rather to promote Takarazuka Revue in a casual and informal manner. I do not know any of the resources that may be featured, and any mentions of the shows or seto are subject to copyright from Hankyu Railway, Takarazuka Revue, and Takarazuka Creative Arts Publications. Without further ado, let the podcast begin. Okay, so we continue with Top Hat and Fuyugasumi, which are like the two Flower Troop split shows in top tier. So, do you want? Sure. Okay.
Almost the words. Ray was super good. I feel like Ray Mado really suited this concept, and I also like they have the chemistry together as well as Mighty and Kurisu together, and also I like the Doki chemistry between Reimai and Madoka and Kurisu. Hottie MVP for real, Hottie MVP. My friend also did great right there, and I actually really like the whole entirety of the show. I really like how they present the concept to us, and I'm really happy that my girl Misato Reina got a small role.
Okay. So, yeah, you just now basically mentioned like the special parts to notice for the characters. I think in terms of like the significance of this musical, there are quite a lot of things that are very important to Ray. For instance, her first story in finding Fred Astaire as the mentor starts in 2013, as I've done subtitling for her Takarazuka News Corner. So that time in 2013, she did like Forever Gershwin, and unfortunately because of copyright, we never get to see it, but she acted as Fred Astaire, the man himself. And then in 2019, she went to London and she went to one of the museums and talked about her enthusiasm and respect for Fred Astaire. And then on March 21st, 2022, I remember she started the Shonichi speech being like, oh gosh, it's finally Top Hat Shonichi. Like, it's been such a long time and such a long wait and such a musical that is so much worth expectation, and just everyone's excited to see Flower Troop and more Serotonin Joy. Like, of course we cannot compare this to Nice Work If You Can Get It, because I believe that they have unique chemistry for both musicals, but I suppose Top Hat is a musical that would show us like another type of, each seto tries to bring in different ad-libs in each show, and I find that really funny. And also, I should mention that apart from Hottie's Bedini, which steals the show, I think Reimai's Doki, which is Kizuki Yuma-san, also stole the show by being the very humorous Bates. Like, her expressions are just super pinpointed to like... Yeah,
like blank.
And just how he tries to clean up Horace or maybe even Jari's mess is just so funny. Like all those gondola costume, sunglasses and all, and it's just wow. It's just, you know, like how Mayupon may have prepared a lot for this role, and you just see like the three of them have this really comfortable closeness, and you just find that really funny. And of course, I think some of the classic scenes that were reinterpreted or even redone would be from the dance scenes, obviously, like Top Hat, White Tie, and Tails, and also from
It's a Lovely Day.
Yeah, It's a Lovely Day. I remember watching that and it was so appalled because it was almost 80% similar with the movie. Because, by the way, this is a rendition of like the Takarazuka Top Hat production, because 2015 Cosmos Troop also done it, and that was also Asaka Manoto-san and Misaki Rian-san, Hirome Koen. Yeah, and like the choreography from the 2022 version is like almost the same with the Top Hat movie, which I think is really insane. And even in Cheek to Cheek or Heaven, they use like the choreography from like Broadway, so there were some...
Wasn't it first aired on West End, the musical?
Yeah, West End and also Broadway. Like, I believe that certain have not to spoil. That certain move cannot be something that's so originally dubbed from Takarazuka. Like, I think that has to be coming from some like foreign influence, and in this case, either like Western theater top hat basically gave them the inspiration to imitate that exact same move, and they did it perfectly, which every time I watch it I find it's so amazing. Like, how did they even do that? So,
pure serotonin.
basically, I remember subtitling it and rewatching it, but I didn't find it boring. I find it really entertaining, in fact. So that's too much of Top Hat. Okay, let's talk about Fugasumi. Fugasumi is another end of the spectrum. So Flower Troop in March shows you both serotonin and angst, and also
I don't think it's angst, it's more just psychological.
the whole thing would be rage. It's kind of challenging to see all those characters built in like this heavy atmosphere of revenge and also bloodthirst, plotting, a conspiracy kind of thing. So yeah, it may not exactly be angst, but you know the plot itself is heavy.
I think that Fugasumi is pure talent, pure masterpiece. Every single circle in Fugasumi helps to make the story come to life. It's just so amazing to see a concept that Takarazuka has almost barely done, which is revenge, and not with the usual romance trope. It's more of a story of this one young man named Octave trying to figure out about himself and his stuff and others, and Toaki Seya-san, she really did a great job as Octave, and Hoshizora Misaki-san, even though she is 8 generations younger than Toaki-san, Hoshizora-san did a great job portraying Octave's older sister Haru, and just Seino Asuka-san was super duper amazing as well. And like, Valentine is the moment show stealer, truly. But I think that the show stealer has to be Aida Miko. She got a pretty much a major role as Hermin, which I really liked. She was really cute, and I also like Hinami Naito's Michelle there. But favorite character I think has to be Hermin, which is Anmika-san, and which is Hinami Naito-san. I did it well too. And also Hiryu Tsukasa-san as Octave's uncle. She also really did a great job as this one Batman role, and I also really love Shimon Yuria-san on Nayaku. She did a great job as on Nayaku as well. More things to say, but let's just say it.
That's true. Shimon Yuria is like on Nayaku. I remember she was like in Moon Troop, so I didn't really watch her a lot, but I believe every time when an Otoyaku does an Onayaku, and you're just like, wait, she's an Otoyaku? And you just feel like that kind of questioning thought in your head, because you won't actually believe that. But I think apart from cast members, which, as you mentioned, everyone did an amazing job, and it's just everyone has to immerse themselves in that total mood of like heaviness, revenge, and all that solitude.
And also, I think I have to give credit for Sashida Shuko-sensei, because this is very amazing, different, and just super good, and I believe in her like good.
I suppose another thing I want to comment about Fugasumi is like the songs and also the vibe and the colors they use. So I think the whole thing was pretty goth, and it's also amazing how they kind of differentiated two sides. Like, there was one side where in the house there were some people that their clothing is obviously more, you could say it's kind of impressionistic. I don't know how you put it, but at least you can see there's some paint splattered on their clothes, and even Octave's suit sometimes show that. So you have that, and you also have the new Kumicho, which is, you have Aoi-san. Yeah, you basically have her be like almost like Bellatrix Lestrange. That's basically my first impression. But also the songs are bop, and I like how they use like, it's kind of like Fury, not exactly Furies. Yeah. So their presence is like, they don't have any script, but you see them lurking around, and you kind of understand it's how it kind of implies like the whole mood. It totally sets that up. Kind of terrifying to just look at them, just be there, not talking anything. But when you see that happen, then that's super crazy. And I also like the actress who did Child Hitoko. Like, her crying was so on point. I was like, oh my goodness.
Hatsune she is 100%.
Yeah, so her acting was pretty good, like as a child Octave. Yeah, and I also remember Top Hat team also mentioning this, like, during the closure of the first act, and I remember Minami Maito's Horace, like there was a part where she would have to say like, okay, stay seated, and the next act we're going to Italy. But on that day I remember remember she said, well, stay seated because on the next stop we're going to Paris. So I remember that was pretty interesting because they're obviously hinting to Fuigasumi. And also on that day, it was, child Hitoko and also Amber having the same birthday. So it was really cool to see Hitoko address that in the Shonichi address, like in the Koaisatsu. So that was also pretty amazing. And also both of the Blu-rays are out, so for those who actually can afford it, please do buy their Blu-rays because their covers, as I've seen them yesterday, are pretty interesting. Because for Top Hat, it's like the very
pinky, kind of like nice work.
Yeah, like a pink, yellow, Hanagumi pink, and very happy. And then on the other side, there's like a how do you call it? It's like a crash of glass, and then you have Hitoko, and then you also have all the other people looking very solemn and stern, and also all that. So basically,
everyone was so amazing on both Top Hat and Fuigasumi, and as a person who has watched both of them, I'm really impressed by how they managed to stir up laughs and stir up serotonin in Top Hat, but also the dramatic of Fuigasumi, how people can immerse in Fuigasumi, and I call the duality of Hanagumi, and I'm really happy that we can see the duality on.
That's actually true, because I remember on that day also, live stream was like April 2nd for Fuigasumi and April 3rd for Top Hat, so I can't believe if people have seen both live streams and feeling mood swings over them, because they have to adjust to that kind of shift in moods. And also, even though we're taking a lot of time in this, but let me just add one final sentence, which is the casting can only be done this way. Like, there was no other way any member could have swapped places. I don't think that could have happened, because it would only be those two teams that would work out those two same projects. You can't have some other, I don't know, transfer of Seto from both teams, because it could only work with their own unique teamwork. So, yeah basically. Okay, cool. Hoshigumi.
Meguriai!
Gran Cantante. Yep, so Meguriai. I've actually seen it recently, Meguriai. So, Meguriai, without any spoilers, is a really sweet koto naku thing. Like, you just see them. It's also, again, a very fairy tale thing. You can't believe that Koto is actually Ken 14 when you see her Luce. Because you see that her whole self becomes younger. Even though in the times where she has to portray, like, for instance, young Luce in, like, 2012, like, some throwback and stuff, like, and then you have to go back to 2022 about Luce now. And you basically see the change in her acting, how she changed her voice a little bit to, like, a child Luce to her now 2022 Luce. But I feel like watching her become Luce is younger somehow. But fair enough for Nako. Like, obviously, Masaru Hiton, her face already looks very young, and she is very perfect to be Luce's
still Ken 7.
Yeah, so I think in that sense, it's kind of normal to see her in, like, the very fluffy, princessy white dress.
No, didn't she wear a tiara?
Oh, sorry, I got that wrong. I mean, Koto was wearing kind of like a top hat, and yeah, she was wearing a tiara. So when you put both of them together, you feel like, oh, that is Hoshigumi. And also, I think the fun parts I like in this is when
Koto and Shindan.
That is interesting. I won't explain what happened there, but that is fun to watch. I would say it's his team of people, like Koto and Seo, Yuria, and also Arisa Hitomi, and also
the Jimusho, the detective agency.
Yeah, that agency. Like, there was a song they were singing together, and you just see all of them vibe, and I think that was pretty cool because it was, I think, that time that I knew. I think yeah. So apparently, her and Arisa Hitomi were dokis, and then you have Koto and Seo, which are dokis, and then it's so funny when you have so many dokis on set. It's almost like seeing Top Hat again. Like, when you have so many dokis on set, and then when they can vibe together, it's really fun. And also, yeah, their whole liveliness just makes Meguriai super fun. And also, really happy to see some of the roles that were continued. For instance, you see, Tenju-san's, like, the butler role, and you also see Minori-san's role, which is the same type of chill and cool. Which is also, because Meguriai is like a trick or some kind of deception, and then Minori is, well, I'm not sure if this is a spoiler, but Minori has some kind of idea of what this deception is about in Meguriai 3. So, because she has experienced it. So it's pretty interesting when you see her becoming almost like a senpai role to kind of guide what is going on. And I think that's really fun. And also the clothes and the theme song sounds like J-pop. Yeah, basically.
Oh, yeah. Oh my gosh. I love Next Generation as well. I just want to ramble about Meguri. Every single thing seems to me. It felt like steampunk never existed until Meguri I, for real. And then like how they actually executed the concept so well. I just love the concept very much. And then I forgot that steampunk existed until Meguri I. I just love the concept so much. It's colorful and every single character, like Puppet and Fugasmi, helps to make the Meguri I come to life. And just like what you said on Puppet and Fugasmi, no other casting can be done this way. Like how Tenji-san and Otoha-san also reprised their roles, which had been in Meguri I before, which means and I just love everything actually. And I also love my boy Shin. Gentle reminder that Kiwami Shin is my bias in Star Troop, and please support her in Bad and Beatrix.
That's so funny. You just added a promotion to that, but it's all right. We are welcome with all these sudden promotions. But yeah, Shin was an interesting character as well. But I won't talk about it too much. So
and also, actually, haven't really seen Meguri I yet. I have only judged from the Shonichi and Gato digests. But I love Lucha. I love Lucha so much that I even made Lucha my Discord profile. Oh, and we forgot to talk about Gran Cantante.
Oh,
it was fun.
Let me just add one more thing. It's the great decision to add Miho Keko in like the Meguri I, because there was a part where she just sang, like there was this role that was allocated to her like a diva, and I was like, of course she is a diva, and she just sang her heart out, and I was like, perfect, you can know why it is Miho Keko-san to be that. And also we have that's basically my comment. Oh, Gran Cantante, I haven't watched that, but the first impression I have was, oh my gosh, Reg Makoto-san's very long note of Gran Cantante, oh, and she just prolonged it so long of her long note, and I was like, whoa, when I heard that. So that's my first reaction. Second reaction be like seeing Seo Yuria sing Sori Sumbura, Sori Sumbura, Sori Sumbura, and I was like, oh my gosh, is everyone actually gonna sing this like all of the 95ths I know, or is everyone just going through the to-do list and just say, okay, who's the next to sing that? Because seeing her sing that is really really funny to watch when I watch the Sonichi Digest. And the third thing I would also talk about is Koto and Seo's bullfight matador scene, because Doki love Chef's Kiss.
Okay, my thoughts. Yeah, Gran Cantante was a very, very, very fun show. We got Titan Daruma. Like, among Musume Actors, we haven't got Titan Daruma. And we finally got Titan Daruma. Yay. And Gran Cantante was very fun. Gran Cantante, I really appreciate what you mentioned. I also agree with what you mentioned. And I mean, like, also, congratulations to the 108th. They did so well.
All right.
The dance.
They were very, like, I think I watched a little bit of their Hatsubutai dance, like line dance, or like that whole dance sequence. And I really like the costume, because every year I think Hatsubutai, apart from just like kind of, adopting girls, adopting children, adopting babies, like that's what we call it. But I mean, the other thing I'm also excited for is watching how their whole formation looks. So I think it's really cool. Like, I think their formation, like for their costumes, kind of like flowers, right? So I forgot which flower.
Saffron flower.
Oh yeah, so yeah, they were like saffrons. So yeah, those were very beautiful. So good luck to them in their new assigned troops after seeing that performance. Yeah, basically.
And also them starting from the Okaidan was also interesting. The most saddening part of it is Tenji Mitsuki singing Hario.
So for those who are interested in watching Gran Cantante, there is still a live stream that's happening soon in July 24th. So please go and support if you can with like live stream tickets and stuff like that. Wind of Buenos Aires. This is the last of Tsukigumi no Akazuki Chise-san. I remember we mentioned her in like the first half about her last GT production was Color Me True and also Full Swing. But for Wind of Buenos Aires, the only thing I watched was the Shonichi Digest, and I am so sorry, but I actually don't remember too much. I just remember this is a rendition of
Kijun-san and Yuzuki Leon-san.
Yes. So it's a rendition of of what they've done before us again. And I remember they went to watch, and I remember that people were saying, "Wow, this is why possibly where we got the previous comment from about since I was editing." So mentioning about Ari-san is stronger suit probably in dance rather than acting, but doesn't mean her acting is not good. It just means dance is better. And people were saying that her tango performance was amazing there. So I believe that would also be something we could expect for as Hoshigumi no Akatsuki Chisei-san.
My comment on this, even though I haven't seen the whole show and I haven't seen the Shonichi Digest yet, even though I don't think this is the best show for Arya, I just can assume that everyone did a great job. Kazama Yuno-san also did a great job. And Judy-san also did a great job. And we got Tsukigumi no Ayami Sera starting her work. And I think that Ami great on Buenos Aires, judging from the Shonichi Digest. And also, and I can't wait to see what she brings in Monte Cristo and Dimitri and Jagger Beat. As I don't really know much about Buenos Aires, I cannot really say much of the show. I really wish for the best for Tsukigumi and also Ari. And I think I'm also interested in Kazama Yuno.
I remember seeing Kazuma Yuno-san's hair and be like, whoa, that's an interesting mullet hairstyle. That's one of my impressions when I remember seeing a picture of her in Now on Stage. I think it was just somehow just seeing it across like the internet or something, and I was like, whoa, that's a mullet hairstyle. And I haven't seen a mullet hairstyle for a while, and she carried it well. And also almost all of the people in Now on Stage possibly, because like I don't know if Buenos Aires or those places remind people of like leather jackets and stuff, but I realized that they almost all paired up to like wear leather jackets and all that. So
I heard Haruneaki-san singing on Buenos Aires Shonichi Digest. That was so good.
I think that's almost right. I'm very sorry if this is too short for people to understand Wind of Buenos Aires, but okay, let me just remind people of something. So we have more, just as coincidence, this second half actually contains more small theater split shows, but in fact, I think recently Culture Rep has made an update on their website. So if you're interested in those small theater split shows, their posters can be ordered in like a size you customize. So for instance, I think the largest size is B1. So imagine having a B1 Wind of Buenos Aires poster. That would be quite amazing. But of course, if you have place to put it and it doesn't crumple or something like that. But I was just trying to say, posters for these mentioned shows are available in Quattro Revis, so be sure to check them out. Because I assure you, having a great poster in your wall of beautiful girls is something that you would be grateful for. So that is just a side promotion of merchandise. But yeah, and the next thing would be Rain on Neptune, Maihama Theater, where everyone takes photos, still photos of Reiko-san or Umi-san or Chinatsu-san with like the still photos in Disneyland. Because apparently Maihama Amphitheater is pretty close to Disneyland, and almost when all the shows go to Maihama Amphitheater, then the Seto will ask, has anyone been to Disneyland before coming to our show, or will anyone go to Disneyland the next day? And it's really interesting to watch. Then the second thing is everything about the show's visuals is super magical, but is expected from Tani Takaya Sensei, who also did Genroku Battle Kuroku. So when I see the still photo, I was surprised because I didn't know that was the concept they were trying to bring, because in the poster of Rain on Neptune, we only have Tsukishiro Kanato-san character.
It was so cool.
But then other people were like colorful hair, colorful costumes, and it's another, I think a better word to describe this may not exactly be a fairy tale. It's imagination, and it's also like euphoria. So it's something that is not to be seen in like human world. So it's another paradise of a sort, and it's another place you have never seen, and that's so amazing. So for instance, you have Umino Mitsuki-san with like the blue hair, Chinatsu-san like a Willy Wonka red hair, and you're like, whoa, everyone's visuals is such a shock, but also very stunning. So that is my thought on that. I'm very blown away by the visuals. Because, again, as expected of Tani Takaya Sensei, so yeah.
I just really want to critique Rain on Neptune, because as much as I love Rain on Neptune, as much as I really like it, I just really want to critique this approach in Takarazuka, because it doesn't really seem like Takarazuka. It felt like we're seeing a production of another theater. It doesn't really feel like Takarazuka, even the finale. Nevertheless, that Takarazuka continues with this kind of approach, and I really like how Takaya Sensei kind of experiments with concepts. He actually likes to experiment, I think, and I really love everything on Redemption. I really love the finale set list, and I also love the storyline. It is actually storybook worthy, and I also love Tanabusa Kaoto and Irodori Michiru. They're so cute.
I think another interesting news I've known is in the Senshuraku, I think they did the Tsukigumi Dai Jumpu, and it was an amphitheater, so it's round. And it's so fun to see them interact with the audience. So they jumped from like a anti-clockwise way, but then like as the audience see it. And then everyone's just having like a wave jump. So it's like the whole thing jumps, and I was like, whoa, that's just amazing audience interaction, even though in the times of COVID. So I feel like Tsukigumi-san and also the audience are in one.
I can ramble about the set list anytime. Whoever made the idea of Reiko and Umi singing Moonlight Densatsu from Sailor Moon, you deserve a raise.
And also another thing I've noticed is Reiko Umi's Me and My Girl, right? I was like, whoa, that's amazing. So I was thinking also, if Reiko Me and My Girl happened, it would be interesting because I suppose Chinatsu-san has already been there in 2008 Me and My Girl and Moontroop. And then also in 2016 Me and My Girl. So if Moontroop has Me and My Girl again, she will be in all three, which is the same legacy as Serika Toa-san in the 3 Ocean 11. So I just don't know if she would become one again, because if so, then she's probably gonna take the role of like John, right? Yeah. So in that case, I would want to see her in like 3 Me and My Girls, should that be the legacy to be fulfilled.
I actually recommend Reina Neptune for people who want to introduce Suka to children, because the plot is family friendly in my opinion. Without much trigger warnings, without, we just have fantasy violence. We have no kisses even. Okay. Just fantasy violence and just a fantasy story.
Sounds like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and with Chinatsu as like Willy Wonka. That's always my best metaphor of her look.
I remember Chinatsu as Mad Hatter.
Oh yeah, Mad Hatter, yeah. It makes sense, because Alice in Wonderland, also Willy Wonka don't really... Oh, sorry, Willy Wonka does have trigger warning. Okay, fine, Alice in Wonderland would probably be a better choice. Fly With Me? Fly With Me is more...
No, Junei no Toshi. Junei no Toshi first.
Oh, Junei no Toshi first. Okay, I was trying to...
Oh my gosh, we're gonna ramble about this.
Sure. Okay, no problem. You can take the mic for that. Junei no Toshi Fashionable Empire. To be honest, I think I'm gonna have an episode. I'm just gonna talk on my own about Years of Pilgrimage and Fashionable Empire, because my PowerPoint's almost done. That's gonna be a very, very long video, because I've just done quite a lot of research, and I think I should put it to the world. But okay, let's just talk about Years of Pilgrimage first. Years of Pilgrimage, thank you, Ikita Sensei, for choosing the right era. Because he mentioned that, okay, too many people have done France, too many people have done French Revolution, but nobody has done about Romantic period. Now let's do Romantic period, where the drama is hot, the tea is boiled, and the drama is just deliciously messy. And he has also picked the correct musician to represent Yuzukare-san, which is Liszt, because she's also a pianist herself, and Liszt is also like the piano idol. And then Yuzukare-san's also alleged to be one of the best pianists among the whole 95th class, as mentioned by Misaki Rion-san, which is also her doki, in Yuzukare-san's Lock-On. So at that time, I remember I was just editing that video, just saying like, oh yeah, she plays the best among all of our dokis. And then the news dropped in October, and I was so surprised. That's like the best gift to send me off to the midterm exams in November 2021. And I was so hyped. And then finally, we're at the Listomania era, and the photos, the plot, the lines, the songs, all of them, I can't even describe how excited I am. When the lip sync comes out, basically a week later, actually. A week later at this time, the lip sync cover will be out, and we will be emotionally damaged, because I haven't bought the Takarazuka program yet, but that is already very deadly. But it's now out of stock, because I was thinking, okay, maybe I should wait for the Tokyo version. But now I'm a little scared again. If the Tokyo version is not as well as the Takarazuka version, what should I do? But anyway, what I'm trying to say is any picture, souvenir, live stream ticket, whatever, Liszt connected, and not just Liszt, any character involved with Liszt, all of those merchandise will be quite the promising thing for Flower Troop fans to purchase. I feel like my wallet is crying, but so is for other fans' wallet.
Well, I will actually sum up Years of Pilgrimage in one word. Get your earphones ready. Lower down your volumes.
Sure.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. This is the show of 2022. Hanagumi executed the concept so well. Oh my gosh, I actually have a lot of things to say, and they're just everywhere, all around the place, and I just can't talk about it one by one. Like, yeah, you know, I love Reyes, I love Mado Kamari, I love Mighty Show. I love Hitoko George-san, and Hitoko's getting another Onayaka role. Yay! And I just want to highlight on the fourth Ayansha, which is Hiria Tsukasa-san, Wakaku-san, Maika-san, Otokurisu-san, and Nae-san, and I'm so happy that Tsukasa and Kurisu got a duet together again. I'm also happy for the Shinko that has on the 22nd. I'm really so happy for Yuki Daya-san and Hoshizora Mizaki-san because this is their first Shinko leads, and I feel so happy for them.
I was also pretty happy for like the recent Takarazuka Shinko performance that has just ended because they look so good. Like the whole Shinko cast, they look so vibing and like energetic and spirited to do this whole production. If you look at the press photos, like Yuki Daya-san and also Hoshizora Misaki-san, they smiled the same smile with Rei Mado in like the Fascination press conference. Yeah, newcomer's performance well done. I can't wait to see Tokyo version. So, and we can see like the whole thing like roll on itself. And of course, yeah, I think George Sand will be the biggest show stealer for most people because it's such a groundbreaking role. It's never to be seen. It's like the independent woman, but at the same time embodying the otokoyaku spirit in her whole life. And that is the thing that surprises and charms people and even charms women then because her sexuality is also very unique. People were willing to approach her as like, yeah, neutral person, not to see her with any presidential bias or something like that because she has been breaking boundaries and defying the stereotypes. Like for instance, smoking. I don't think people would actually legitimize smoking as something good, right? But she smokes and they make it hella sexy. And I mean, she wears pants. At the same time, I'm also really excited to see how George Sand and Chopin would look. Fashionable Empire. Okay, Fashionable Empire is, yeah, fashionable. The song itself is brainwashing again for every review. Brainwashing song. Really fashionable clothes. And what else? Labyrinth. Okay, Labyrinth is the show where Rei Mai says they will steal a girl, but in fact, the Shonichi Digest suggests otherwise. They are tangoing with each other. So that's kind of out of the ordinary, but very normal Rei Mai content. But Rei Madoka's duet dance also looks very pretty and very gentle. A very long time to be seen because if we count do dance, then actually for Kobe's, for Fashionable Empire, for Top Hat, all of those look very stronger and more tango-ish. But then this one with the music itself sounds more cute and sounds more gentle, so it would be another vibe of Dudan. And I heard that, this is not a spoiler, but it's mentioned that there is no Ginkyo use for this Dudan, so I also want to see how they, as Ray put it, use the stage widely. Like how to utilize the whole space.
It was very fun. I love the outfits. Yeah, they're fashionable. This is Inabadaichi Sensei did a really great job on kind of like making the Hanagumi vibe. Creating this particular Hanagumi and Inabadaichi vibe, they worked together to make this one entirety of a show called Fashionable Empire, which is super entertaining, and I love the Shanshan at the end. It felt like no other. I love the Shanshan at the end. They were crowned and they were so cool. And Mighty finally got her Nibante feathers. I repeat, Mighty finally got her Nibante feathers. And I also like the fashion show scene where they designs and stuff. And as I remember, there was Biku-san and Hottie.
Yeah,
I like
Fashionable Show. Yeah, that sounds really cool. And I also like Toaki Seiya's vibe because in List you see her as Georgetown, but then there you see her like sunglasses, Scotch, and stand mic, and like I am the Seiya Toaki collection designer. I'm Toaki Seiya-san, so like that's so. It's kind of like the image you have about what is a designer look like. This is a theory of thought. Did they reuse the fabric of Alberto Bedini and just remake it into like Hottie's costume in the fashion show? Because they used the exact same magenta color, yellow, and green.
Maybe they reused the costume.
They possibly did. They possibly did. So it's really refreshing to see her in those colors again. Because you're like, hey, that's Hottie Bedini. And I hope I can see this in September, hopefully in Hong Kong, and then I will be damaged. Imagine me fainting in the Hong Kong cinema. So people are gonna call the ambulance for me if I just faint or something. Because people have fainted for Liz playing the piano. It's recorded in history. So imagine if I faint in Hong Kong cinema.
You are going to faint.
I'm not even ready for that. I remember watching Hibiscus and being very excited. My friend's like, it's very normal cinema watching. And I'm like, no, this is Takarazuka live viewing. Oh my gosh, they're a big screen setos. So I can't imagine seeing Yuzuka Dei-san on that big screen. I am gonna faint. And then that time I will notify y'all if I can continue on my fan page. Maybe I have to delay operation. So I will send the news then if that happens. Anyway, Fly With Me.
First, because I think I seem to know more about Fly With Me.
Yeah, so go on.
Wow. Oh my goodness.
That's every reaction you have.
My goodness. Oh my goodness. I can never imagine LDH, one of the leading music companies in Japan, to collab with Takarazuka, one of the leading theater companies in Japan, and they just created this joint project, and they just created it. Team Genesis from LDH Japan produced it, and Noguchi Kosaka-sensei helped on it, and then they just did this tag team work to create this one-of-a-kind stage, which may not seem like the normal Takarazuka shows, kind of like Kreon in Budokan, just Yusuke Ryan-san's concert, which Yurika-san, Makasu Suzuho-san, was also there. But, okay, Fly With Me is just, oh my gosh, as a J-pop fan. And I just love the set list, and they just have this very fun theme song, and then they have this one funny Yurika life story, and then they have classic Takarazuka numbers like Shinora's no Kaze and Joseph Kuro Envy, which, if I'm not wrong, they use Exile song for the Kuro Envy, but they did it with the Bohan mix. And I also like them seeing Exile songs, singing Exile song and singing LDH songs, and then some kind of giving homage to the LDH. Just when we thought that this collaboration in Tokyo Garden City could not get any better, we got high and low spoilers. I repeat, we got high and low spoilers. Like, everyone looks so good there. Yurika, Junhana, Kiki. I love Kiki Rocky. And Takato Chiaki. And Kati, yes. And my favorite part of the high and low spoilers has to be the Mineri with the pink jacket. It's called the strawberry milking and high and low. I really like I haven't seen it though, but I like Mineri strawberry milk and high and low. And overall, Fly With Me is just the concert that you have to see. And this is like the dream collaboration. Get some like the Takarazuka that we have maybe never seen before. So got the essence of Takarazuka. Like, Fly With Me is just wow. And I'll thank you for tuning in to my Fly With Me.
Sure, no problem. Because you know more Fly With Me than me. Actually, 4 things to interested about. For the Fly With Me, because I've just seen the Senshu Daku Digest. I'm very happy for the Takarazuka number. They revived the jump, like from Ocean's 11. I remember seeing them dance, and I was like, yay, it's my favorite song from Ocean's 11, this jump. And they revived it, and they sang it again in Fly With Me. And the second thing, I like how the venue is Tokyo Garden Theater, and they were all wearing kind of pilot or flight attendant costumes. And then, yeah, it's almost like when you go there and it's like you're going to set off to a new journey vacation, and then Soragumi-san will bring you to, like, that's why Fly With Me. That's why they use that. And I believe people were saying like Fly With Me. It's also kind of because Makaze Suzuha-san for like the kanji, kaze and like Suzuho. So ho is like kind of, if you put it in Chinese or like in kanji, it's kind of like sails. So like sails on like the sea, okay? So sails on the boat. And then kaze, so it's wind. So it's very easy for people to like associate like Fly With Me, like to take a flight. And those meanings to put in this for the concert name is, you can associate it with, yeah, Yurika-san. Third thing is, yeah, Rocky Kiki. So I was like, it's really a vibe and aesthetic to have someone in white hair and red sunglasses. Like, that is something I have never seen, and I thought would not look good. But okay, she is Serika Toa-san, and she looks good with Serika Toa-san's reasons. The fourth thing I was really, I find this really cute is the part where I think they were kind of lined up together. They were all wearing shirts that had like 92, which kind of represent Yurika-san's class.
It's Choo Train.
Yeah, that part. So I really like how they kind of moved like in very in sync domino effect movement. That was pretty cute.
It's actually from Exile.
Oh, that explains.
Actually, the original choreography for Exile song, which is Choo Choo Train, and Choo Choo Train is a mega hit in Japan. I'm very happy that they sang one of LDH's most iconic songs in this concert.
So yeah, I haven't seen that yet, but I will see it later, hopefully. Yeah, but I think Fly With Me sounds cool for a Yurika-san concert, because I never thought Yurika-san would do a concert, not because like I don't think she's a concert type of person, but it's just I haven't actually thought of who else would do a concert. Like, it's until when they have the news and when you see it, then you're like, oh, that's why she would be allocated with the concert. For instance, Rei Makoto-san had For Dad, right? So those are like concerts. And I think these concerts are almost like a surprise announcement for us fans. So I'm happy when Yurika-san has like a Fly With Me concert. That sounds really cool. Okay, and I think the last one we have is Call Twine. Call Twine, I've seen the Shonichi Digest, and I just remember that same white striped suit, maybe a little bit familiar with Tsukishiro Kanato-san's suit in Full Swing, kind of. Yeah, there was a scene where she also wears like the white striped suit. But anyway, seeing the plot itself, unfortunately, I think because this like Call to Wine, like it's also almost similar to Wind of Buenos Aires. Like there are some things we have to mention as well, which I think the trigger warning is definitely race face. So when I saw the Shonichi Digest of both of these, you can clearly see how both of the cast members may have toned their skin a little bit different from their natural skin color just to show the ethnicity of it. So that was one of my first impressions, like, okay, they kind of did a makeup a lot for this one. But apart from the makeup, since I'm not too familiar with the plot yet and not really sure, and this is a new show by the way, I just remember seeing how there were a lot of wine like on set, but it's normal because it's Cult to Wine, right? So there are some scenes where you can see there are like cupboards with like bottles of wine, and they're just like kind of seeing how the wine should be put and how it should be sold and stuff like that. And there's like, it's kind of like a not alcohol review but like an alcohol show because Cult Wine. And the second thing I would talk about is Masama going to see her and being very excited. And that's good because she's like her, okay, like when in Otoyaku, I think Masama's almost like Jun-san's dad, as is Asumirio-san's like Yuzukare-san's dad. So I believe when you have your dad come to see you and your dad's very, very happy, like seeing a proud child, oh my gosh, lead show, and then that's really cute. And I think she shared this on Twitter.
I actually expected too much for Karita Line. I'm like, I made a whole list of like what this character would do, what this character would do, what they would do. I got spoilers for the plot, and nevertheless, I'm really happy. It seems so Soragumi-esque, and I just love the win, that the energy that Karita Line gave, and yeah. And we actually saw Musumeyaku wearing pants, which is really rare. And I'm really happy that Zun-chan Sakuragi Minato-san also, I think this is a good one. And I'm also very happy for the Kaze Hikaru-san and Kizu-san and Haruka-san because they got prominent roles over there. Even though I only got a glimpse of Kotobuki Tsukasa-san in the Shonichi Digest, I like the energy. Sushi-san extremely in the Shonichi Digest. And I'm also happy that Itsuminaki-san saying she's coming back for Pipeline. And I just, even though there are some things that we also have to watch for Pipeline, I really like the energy that Pipeline gives, which is something a bit different from the usual energy that Takarazuka gives. I mean, like, I just love the hot energy, the summerish energy of Pipeline, and I just feel like this is a great show to enjoy for the summer. And I also want to congratulate Jun-san on her first Tokyo lead since her 2020 Suleiman didn't make it to Tokyo. So I'm very grateful that they do her first Tokyo lead show this time. And I just love the energy that Karita Line exudes, and I really want.
I remember you should talk also about like your reaction to the pictures because I remember you putting a metaphor as like my reaction to Years of Pilgrimage is almost equal or even more compared to when you looked at like the preview pictures and also like poster of like Cult Wine. So you could talk about that if you want to, like your excitement for Sakuragi Minato-san's Cult Wine.
I almost sent it to now look at the principal pictures. Like you see Zun-san grabbing a grape like that and just squeezing it and everything. And actually, that was actually kind of different from what I was expecting. Doing a smirk, and I felt like when I started Chirashi, I felt like I was going to spin because she was smirking.
I think that's a pretty good wrap up for like the 2022 first half, even though it is very long for people to actually catch up to our ramble. But again, if you have listened to the end of this, thank you very much. And also thank you so much, Maria, for being like the first guest. And even though we haven't mentioned the Takarazuka 2020 second half, we are sure that both of us are going to return to talk about the recaps again, but we just want us to have like a more detailed explanation rather than giving expectations. So we decided possibly giving these 2 episodes in like later episodes. But I suppose if there's anything, for instance, about your aspirations about how Takarazuka would look like in 2022 or in the future, about how you would navigate as a fan in Takarazuka, like you can talk about these as like maybe some final conclusions and some messages.
Okay, so I'm really excited for the upcoming shows in Takarazuka. Like I'm really happy we got a lot of revivals going on. We got Shinju revival and we got Junjo revival as well. And then we also got Blackjack revival and we also got Utakata coming on next year. And I'm very happy and excited for the future Takarazuka shows to come, such as we got Great Gatsby, and then we got like Monte Cristo, and then Gun Cantante, and then we got Shinju, and then we got Odyssey, and then we got blah blah blah. I cannot mention all of them one by one, but I'm just super duper excited for what's to come at the next half, and I'm also very excited to see Beatrix and Jinjo since it's Shin, Hoti, and Hanako's first Cowhall leads. And I feel so happy for them, and I just feel so excited for the lineup this time, even though sometimes they're actually sticking to the traditional Takarazuka concept on some shows, kind of like Jinju and Junjo and Chirenze and stuff. I think Elpidio will also be like the normal Spanish Takarazuka show. And I somehow associate Elpidio with Kanashimi no Cordoba, even though they sometimes kind of like do kind of like traditional and usual Takarazuka shows. I really appreciate how they're stepping out of the box and could experiment with new concepts such as Odyssey and also High and Low. And I'm so excited for the upcoming 2022 half to come. And I also wish all the best for Utakatsu next year. Okay, speaking of small theater shows, in the second half of 2020, I am here to promote Beatrix again. My boy Shin deserves this.
No. Okay. Okay. So
I love Shin too much. Sorry.
It's okay. So thank you very much, Maria, for also suggesting this idea in the first place. Continue to tune into my podcast because we don't know when Maria's gonna come back. So I think for the last part, you can say bye to the audience and we can end the podcast here.
Thank you for listening to this podcast, even though I kind of like might have rambled a lot. And let's all wish all the best for Takarazuka Revue on the days to come.
Yay.
Yay.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.